This can be considered the why behind your business, why you do what you do. So open up and let your audience see the real you. If they get to know you and your why, they'll feel more comfortable to open up to you as well about their own story. Welcome to the Self-Paid Club podcast. I'm your host, Samantha Peddle, a small-town wife and mom who started my first business at 17 and never looked back. For over a decade, I've been helping other ambitious souls build insane wealth in both life and business. We believe that success comes from growth as the whole person, mastering your time, money, and mindset for a balance between all three. Ditch the hustle culture and achieve your dream life by embracing your own vibe, doing it weird, and doing it your way. This is your destination for all things business strategy, mindset work, success, personal development, marketing, and everything in between. If your mission is to build an empire while having fun, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Today, I want to talk to you about your brand story, because I have a feeling it needs some refreshing. It can be so hard to talk about yourself and figure out what to share with the world, talking about your accomplishments and where you've been. It's really hard to look inward and pull that out. And after all the effort and struggle that you put in, most of the time it ends up reading pretty bland and boring anyways, and nobody can get through it. This applies to you whether you tell your story through social media, in your captions, your stories, an email list, on your website's about page, or anywhere else that you write a bio or talk about yourself. Your backstory is usually one of two things. It's either really short, lacking all the important info that the readers still have no idea who you are after reading it, or it's super long with way too much fluff and no real down-to-earth story behind the business. Either way, you're in the losing circle. Starting from the very first word, your brand story must speak to your audience in a way that ignites their soul. You have to speak to them in a way that lights them up and makes them excited and compelled to keep reading and read more, and compelled to work with you and to kind of deepen your connection after reading your story. And connecting with leads on a deeper level means more customers, because people love a relationship built on trust and transparency. That's where your sales are going to come from. So get ready to throw that bland, boring explanation out the window and tell your audience a backstory they'll remember. But before we get started, I created a free multi-page worksheet for you to follow along with this episode. It's filled with all of the information we're covering to help you absolutely rock your brand story game with guiding questions to write a kick-ass message. So go grab your free copy at samanthapeddle.com/about page. Now let's get into it. As I mentioned, this can apply to telling your brand story anywhere in your marketing, like on social media, an email list, on your website. But for the purpose and simplicity of this episode, I'm going to be talking about devising a kick-ass about page. Once you write your about page from your site, you can actually pull the information and create a bunch of little posts for social media. You can create a blog post, you can create emails. So once you have this piece of content, you can repurpose it in many, many ways. So that's why we're going to focus on the about page today. When I talk about writing your about page or your brand story, I like to break it down into the 5 Ps. This is my own method that I came up with in order to pull all the most important information to put together when you are crafting your brand story. So the 5 Ps of your story. Number 1, the people you serve. Like I said, starting from the very first word of your about page, your story must speak to your audience. So I want you to ask yourself the following questions to paint a clear picture of the people that you're serving, and then write with them in mind. If you're driving or cooking or working out or something like that, you can answer these questions in your head and then go and download your free copy of the guide in order to actually sit down with a pen and paper or with your computer and answer these questions by physically writing the answers when you do have 10 minutes later on. So for now, answer these in your head. Who is impacted by your product or service? Who would benefit the most from your services? or your offers, depending on what you're selling. What are the interests of your ideal customers? How do you relate to the people reading? And then carefully going through all of these questions will ultimately help you answer the most important one. Who is it that you're serving? So in this section, number 1, the people you serve, this is basically breaking down your audience into an ideal client. So you're doing an ideal client profile. You want to figure out who you're serving, who benefits the most from your offers, what they're interested in, and how you relate to them. And then you'll be able to speak with them in mind. Number 2, the problems you solve and the personality that makes you unique. This just might be the most important thing of all, so it's crucial that you emphasize it in your story. The problems you solve and that unique factor that you possess to make you stand out, because there is lots of competition in the online business space. However, it's possible to stand out and be the best. You can be the best in your field. In order to do that, you want to pull that unique factor that makes you stand out. So a couple questions from this section. What problems do you solve for your audience? How does your offers solve these problems? What gaps do you fill in the marketplace? How does your product or service or offer make life easier for your customers? What feelings does your offer bring to your customer's life? For example, maybe it makes them feel joy or happiness or relief or excitement. Maybe you relieve them of stress. Maybe you motivate them. Maybe your offer comforts them. It could be any of these or others. And what is different or unique about you? What is different or unique about your offer? As you're going through these questions, it might actually give you an idea of how you can revamp your offer or even improve it to make it better, to make yourself stand out and have that unique factor. So it's kind of a 2-in-1 episode, because you're writing your brand story, yes, but you could also improve your offers if you think of some ideas or you have a light bulb moment where you want to add something in. Number 3 is the point in time when you deliver results. So we all know that when you're buying something, you want to know what you're buying, right? Transparency is admired in business, especially when it comes to the results that you deliver. So if you're a coach or you deliver services or something similar, you need to be very clear on the end goal for your audience and how long it will take them to get to that end goal. Because that's an easy way to establish trust. You tell them how long to expect the results, and then they reach that point, they get results, and they'll trust you, and then they'll want to buy from you over and over again or continue working with you. I have 3 questions for this section. How long will it take before your customers see the full results and reach the end goal that your offer promises? I want you to give a brief overview of the timeline or experience that they'll have in this section. Next, if it will take a while before your customers actually experience the full results from your product or service, at what point will they slowly begin to see the value coming to fruition? What point will they start to see any real change? Will it take a week before any real change starts to happen, or a month, or will they immediately notice a difference? And lastly, are you forming a long-term relationship upon purchase, or is it just a quick transaction before you part ways? Is it just a one-time offer and they buy it from you, they get their thing, and then they disappear? Or is it a long-term relationship? With coaching, that would be the case, right? What does this relationship involve? Moving on to number 4, the place you're located. Now, before any sort of connection can form between you and your audience, you must make it easy for them to picture where you are, what your workspace looks like, and your surrounding environment, so they can picture you working and they can picture working with you. Only then can they feel like they know exactly where you're coming from, who you are, and what you're all about. So for this section, here are the questions. Where are you located? This can include your country, your city or town, the type of landscape that you see every day. Like if you look out your window and you see city streets or mountains, farmers' fields, Describe your location. And then, where do you live and where do you work? Do you work from home? Are you required to travel for work? Do you operate on your own or do you have a team? Share your office space, your craft table, so on, to get your audience to imagine your creative process. And in this case, if you're able to, images work great here if you can swing it. So whether you're including this on your about page or on social media or in an email, an image of your workspace works really well here. And then this goes hand in hand. Where are your customers located? Because if they know where you're located, you also need to know where they're located. And then you can explain your connection to their location. Or if there is no connection between you and their location, then explain similarities between your lifestyles in order to relate on a more meaningful level. So for example, you could form a connection by answering this. Why do you target people in those locations? These are questions you wouldn't normally ask yourself in business, right? So it's good. It's good to really dig deep and figure out the connection with your audience because you'll be able to relate to them on a deeper level. And like I said, that will relate to more sales and more customers. And now number 5 of the 5 P's of your story is your passion and purpose. This can be considered the why behind your business, why you do what you do. So open up and let your audience see the real you. If they get to know you and your why, they'll feel more comfortable to open up to you as well about their own story. Answer these questions to guide you. Why are you passionate about your offer? For example, do you like helping people, bringing them joy? Does it make you feel good to create useful things? Are you a creative? Do you enjoy forming relationships and connections with people? Could be any reason. Why are you passionate about your offer? Next, what interests you in this business? Why are you in this business? What interests you about it? What made you feel pulled to create a business in this space? What made you decide to pursue this passion of yours? And then finally, we're talking your origin story. Not from birth, but explaining your journey and your experience getting to this point. So I want you to include just enough detail, but to the point. You could include maybe memorable turning points in your life that sparked your motivation to continue with this business, or that sparked your interest in the first place and made you decide, I'm going to do this with my life. I'm meant to do this. Okay, perfect. We've got through all the questions, all the 5 Ps. Now take what you've written down. If you haven't written anything down, come back to this episode later or download your free guide in order to actually answer these questions. They are written out for you in the downloadable guide, the downloadable multi-page worksheet, so that you can actually answer every single one. And then you can use your answers to compile an about page or a brand story that speaks directly to your audience and their lifestyle, while at the same time making them feel like they know the face behind your business. All right, we've reached the end. Let's quickly review the 5 Ps of your story. Number 1, the people you serve. Number 2, the problems you solve and the personality that makes you unique. Number 3, the point in time when you deliver results. Number 4, the place you're located. And number 5, your passion and purpose. Again, for a written copy of everything we covered, along with guiding questions to help you craft a kick-ass message, go grab your multi-page worksheet at samanthapetal.com/about-page. And if you're looking for more expert guidance on building a life and business you are obsessed with, join my coaching membership, Thrive. Claim your spot to instantly unlock new business strategies, mindset mastery techniques, and marketing methods that will blow your results out of the water at samanthapetal.com/thrive. Thanks for tuning into another episode of the Self-Paid Club podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please leave a comment or a review telling me what helped you the most. And until next time, stay wealthy.